Okay, welcome everybody. Can you hear me? I see somebody. I actually didn't start yet, so that's probably why you didn't hear me yet. So great, awesome. How is everybody doing today? Yay! It's so great to see all of you in here. Welcome, welcome. All right, so you guys are going to be starting a new mod. We are in mod 7. Welcome. This is DGD101. You are in the first lecture. It is June 23rd, and my name is April Biss. You can refer to me as April, that's fine. Good. Yeah, so starting a new mod, I have to say that I had some weird issues going on. I think Canvas was updating. So if you went into the live sessions area before this morning, in certain sections that I have here, the live lectures for some reason were not listed, but it is listed now. So I went in and made sure that that was all changed. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it should be all good now. So, all right. Great to see all of you in here. We're going to see if Laura's coming in here in a second. We're going to introduce her as well. But welcome. You guys are in a great spot here. This is the first class of your 5-credit design classes. So I've been teaching this the last 2 mods, and it is definitely a really fun class to teach. And it will set you guys up for a great foundation going forward. To kind of start good habits in terms of saving files and keeping good care of your computer, as well as just learning the basics of the software. So this course pretty much introduces the digital tools used in visual communication. You will learn the basic function and utility of industry standard hardware and software. Oh, we see some smiling faces there. Here we go. So in addition, you will learn best practices, like I just said, in design workflow, including file organization, file management, time management, and system backup and maintenance. All very important when you're starting out as a designer. This is something that you'll just kind of experience and learn and evolve as you go forward. So, but it's good to know, the ins and outs of the workflow too. Everybody works differently, but you'll get kind of an idea of how to properly organize files and also maintenance for your computer, which is super important. All right, so let me just introduce myself. My name is April Biss again. I actually am an FPA here and also an instructor. I have been teaching for IU for about, I want to say 7 years, almost 8 years now. I love it. I love what I do. I actually am also a designer. I've worked for 20 years in the industry. I have a master's degree in graphic design. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design. And I like to tell you guys this because I did that all online. So I did my bachelor's on ground many years ago. And then I actually worked for about 10 years before I went back to get my master's degree. But I did my master's degree all online. So it's like, I like to tell you guys that because I can relate to kind of how you guys are, what you guys go through. It is different when you're online, and especially in a design class. And there's pros and cons about everything. So there's definitely, some challenges when you're critiquing, for example, but hopefully, because I have that experience of being on the other side, I would, was in your shoes as a student designer, I kind of can see maybe certain things that need to be addressed in regards to how a critique is handled, feedback, and all that good stuff. So, but there's my personal link of some of the work that I have done in the industry there. That's the Behance link there. Also my contact information, which is also available in Canvas. Let me go ahead and show you here real quick. Just like I said, in live sessions or recordings, this is where you're going to find our schedule. And I have kind of a weird shift in our schedules each week, so just kind of pay attention to that. So week 1 and week 3, we will be doing lectures on Tuesday. same time pretty much. But then week 2 and week 4, we'll shift the days from, we won't be doing it Tuesday, we'll be doing it Monday. So just kind of make sure that you have that in your calendar, just to kind of give you that heads up. Okay, after listening to this lecture too, if you have not watched the pre-recorded lectures, there are pre-recorded lectures for each week. For week 1, there are, geez, that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Some of them not as long as others, but go ahead and listen to those. And then I will be posting the recording of this lecture underneath. So it'll be the last lecture each time we do a lecture each week. Just to let you know, I do a 2-hour live lecture every week, just one time. And then we have a lab instructor who I will be introducing you here in a second, who will be doing multi-sessions, and that's another 2 hours. And that's just a chance, that's a chance for you guys if you need extra help. It's not mandatory that you do the multi-session. It's just extra time for you guys if you need to come in and, need that extra help. Okay. All right. So that's where you would find the live lectures recordings. My contact information too is also provided in the About the Instructor, just like I showed you on my slide there. So you can find my email address, my phone number. I'm pretty much available. Oh, for some reason my picture didn't come through. Some weird Canvas things going on here. But just email me if you have an issue. You can call me too or text me. But typically I respond within 24 hours of emails. Let's see here. So my bio's in there too if you want to take a look at that. So just a little bit about me. So I'm actually, I live in Pittsburgh. I have lived in Akron, Ohio for 6 years after gaining a year experience in an ad agency. And then I moved from Akron, I moved to Tampa, Florida. My dog's going to be barking here, so I might have to mute my mic for 1 second. But I lived in Tampa, Florida for about 7 years, and I worked for several publication companies. And then that's kind of where I got into teaching. So pretty exciting stuff here. I do have just a little personal information here. I do have a 6-year-old daughter. Her name's Amelia. And I have a wiener dog named Santino. And he's actually going to be probably going in his crate in a second here because he sounds like he's going to start barking. So sometimes I might have to pause if I do not put him in his crate. He's scratching there. I might have to pause this. Hold on 1 second, guys. Very sorry. All right, I appreciate your patience. It's like having a toddler sometimes. Anyway, so that's just a little bit about me. I actually have worked for several ad agencies in Akron as well. So I gained my experience through the ad agencies. I believe that molded me as a designer because I was able to work for several clients and work with them. Totally different. It wasn't like an in-house experience. So for an ad agency, you work on various projects, different brands, different companies and businesses and organizations. Whereas if you work in-house, that means you work for one company. So like, for example, if you worked in-house for Target, you would be solely just designing for that brand. So when I worked for the two, I think 3, there was one that I worked for a while. It was one ad agency in Akron for about 3.5 years I worked for. I believe it shaped me, really helped me with time management because we were on a billing cycle of, we billed per hour. So time management was super important. And that's where I became a very efficient designer. So, all right. So it's just a little bit about me. If you want to, go ahead and type in the chat area there of where you're currently living. It's always nice to see where everybody is, where everyone is living, where you're from. Go ahead and share with us. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, St. Louis, Minnesota. Very cool. All over. We got Centerville, Gettysburg. I was just at Gettysburg a couple years ago. Florida. We're in Florida. Okay. I'm not going to repeat that because I don't know if I could if I could say that. Yeah, I lived in Tampa for 7 years, so I want to say that is that the middle of the state? Little Rock, Arkansas. Very nice. My sister used to live in Arkansas. So we got a wide variety of people from all over the place, which is great. I think it was 2 mods ago, I had a student that was literally 30 minutes from me here in Pennsylvania. So it's kind of cool when that happens. Usually it doesn't happen. Oh, okay. Lake Placid, cool. Very cool. Great. And don't forget too, we have a little intro. If you go to your discussions, there's an intro. Let's see here, if we share our modules here, you can introduce yourself here. Go ahead and just start your networking. This is where you can really connect with your fellow classmates and get to know each other a little bit more. And it's kind of crazy, but you don't think about networking in school sometimes, but when you graduate, you'd be kind of amazed. I was kind of surprised when I graduated how many connections I had through alumni that I graduated with and how many doors opened because I kept those connections open. So that's pretty much where it starts. It starts here. And being an online student is really that's the challenge because we don't see each other in a classroom. So it's super important to really connect with each other through discussions, through your introductions, and then of course, any type of social media, Facebook, whatever, just kind of keep in touch with each other. Super, super important. So go ahead and just answer the little intro question there and get yourself out there so that other people can start, connecting with you and you can start connecting with other people. And that way, when you graduate, you never know. It's pretty cool. You can have some doors open. All right. So let's go forward here. I'm going to introduce you. I think Laura's in here. Laura. Laura is
here.
Hi, Laura. Welcome.
How are you?
Good. Great to see your smiling face here on this page. So Laura is going to be your lab instructor, and she pretty much is going to be my wing woman. And she is going to be here for you to help you if I'm unable to. She's going to come in and swoop in and help you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, need just a little extra, push with certain assignments, if you run into any issues and it's really, you're struggling, she's here to help you. There's so many resources available, but she's kind of my wing woman in this class, and she will be holding the multi-sessions as well for each week. And she also has, let me go into Canvas here. She also has her intro and bio in the section of the instructor contact information. But what's also nice down here is she has her Zoom room link here. And I'm going to have you talk to Laura. I'm not going to keep talking, but okay. You can introduce yourself as well. But I just wanted to point out, and I know
if you stay on that page, if you go to my bio.
Okay.
So if you guys need help, I'm here. I can sit with you and do your work. It's not a problem. The other thing we want to show you, if April, you click on that link, for the discussion. If you click on this,
You know what? I'm in student view.
right,
They
it
should be able to see
should
that.
work. Well, once you guys click on that, it takes you to a calendar, and there is, make sure you look in there, and there is multi-sessions across the whole week. And here's the calendar. So any of these times with any of these instructors, you can pop in there and ask your questions, or they can sit with you and they can help you. So all of these instructors across the whole week are just like if you are meeting with April and I. And this is in addition to the Student Success Center. So when we send out the flyers for the Student Success Center, just know that's different. That's another option for you to get help. But April and I are in your course to help you. So I'm the learning instructor. April is your instructor. April handles your lectures and your grades and helping you. And I cannot do anything with your grades, but I can help you with your assignments, or if you need to get in touch with April and you're having trouble, or anything else. So, and then the Student Success Center is another option for you to help. So I know it's all kind of confusing. So what I tell you is there's these multi-sessions that you can go to. There are, you can click and make an appointment with me.
Oops, sorry.
Or you can just text me. And if all of that is too confusing, just text me. And April and I always just ask that if you set up a time with either one of us, that you make sure you're there. We set aside time for you. And all of what I'm saying is in the video that's April showing you right now. So book time with me, and you can pick your time. If there isn't a time that you see available, just text me. I will make myself available to you as much as possible. And also, and April probably agrees with this, if you have a quick question and you don't necessarily need to jump into Zoom, you can email us or text us a question and we can answer it right away for you. So that happens like more than not. The example I would use, like this past mod, is a lot of students are like, I can't upload my file, it's not letting me. And I can just say to a student in text, like, check the size, make it a smaller PDF, and then of course they could upload it. So, you know, those quick questions, don't get scared to ask, reach out. We know all of the trials and tribulations of turning in work or trying to get Vile's work. So just let us know. And I am more than happy to help you with anything. So it is good to meet you all. And thank you so much for being here. We are grateful to you.
Yes, thank you, Laura. I appreciate it.
Not a
Yes.
problem. I'm going to be gone now. So
Okay,
have
thank
a good
you.
lecture, guys.
All right. Have a great day. Yeah, so
Thanks, you too.
yes. All right. So Laura's great. She's here to help you guys too. We're all here to help. And that's one of the pros of being an online student, is you do have a lot of different resources, and she is definitely one that you can reach out to if you need to. Okay. So what are we doing today? Let's go ahead and move forward here. Course overview. We just kind of talked about a little bit. What will this course accomplish? Class expectations, what to do if you can't meet a deadline, and then boom, right into our week 1 overview. We're going to talk about learning objectives for each week, but we're going to talk about it for this week as well. You guys have 2 discussions each week, so we'll take a look at that. And then we're going to kind of go into more information about file storage and computer performance. We're going to talk about cloud storage, what is it and why use it. And then we're going to have just like a little demo of how you will set up your assignment and your assessment. And then throughout this lecture, I'm going to be kind of dropping some key information for the lecture quiz. So you're going to actually have a lecture quiz. I will not review it like a list. You will have to listen to the whole lecture in order to do the lecture quiz. Okay? And that just kind of makes sense because we want you to watch the whole entire lecture. It's pretty much the meat and potatoes behind what we do here as far as the course goes. You know, you're going to be finding out the demos. I do step-by-step demos of each project in here. So typically I kind of know if you don't watch the lecture and then you ask me a question, I'm like, did you watch the lecture? And usually more often than not, the student is asking a question that I already covered in the lecture and I know, and that's kind of like a tip off that, hey, you know, I said this in the lecture, so you should just watch the lecture. And it will save you a lot of time, even though you have to listen to the 2-hour recording. At least you can kind of speed it up, rewind it if you need to review certain things. But it is pretty much, like I said, the most important part, I think, of gaining that information that you need for your projects. Okay, so course objectives. And this is basically what you'll be walking away from whenever you are successfully completing this course. So pretty much you're going to understand and utilize proper file organization and file storage methods. And maybe you already have that ability and are doing that right now, which is great. But we're just going to cover that just so that you understand why it's important and certain methods to use if you're not aware of those. Understand and utilize the digital tools used in visual communication, you know, basically the software. Implement effective time management and design workflow practices to meet deadlines in a timely manner. You know, this is all part of your experience too. You know, when you go and get a job in the design industry, you will kind of you will become better as you gain that experience. But learning the effective time management ways and methods to make yourself more proficient is important. Understand and utilize proper computer maintenance practices. And that's super important too. It's what we should all be, you know, pretty much understanding and utilizing as we go forward. Because our computer is basically what we use as a tool. So we got to keep it running as best as possible. Here's my little, thought that guy was a little cute guy. It's like what my wiener dog looks like, so I wanted to throw him in there, but that's not him though, but it looks like him. Okay, so this week, so that's pretty much the objectives for this entire class. So this week, the objectives are you're gonna analyze appropriate system backup options and identify the capabilities of cloud-based versus external hard drive backups and storage systems. We'll talk about that. Navigate industry standard hardware to enact effective file organization and file structure practices. Discuss the ways strategic backup, system backup, and computer maintenance lead to hardware and software longevity. You guys are already discussing this as well in this week's discussions if you started it. Navigate industry standard hardware to enact effective system maintenance and system backup practices. And lastly, discuss how utilizing cloud storage to save work can optimize computer performance. So lots and lots and lots of stuff for this week that you will be walking away and learning. That's basically the overview. So class expectations, this is pretty much common sense, but it's always good to kind of get this out there so you guys know what I expect from you, and hopefully communication. I mean, we are visual communicators, but if you need help, please reach out, communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. I can be more flexible with you if you do that. Turn your work in on time. I mean, that's pretty common sense, right? I know life happens. Trust me, I have life going on all the time. If you feel like you are, you know, something's going on, just keep me in the loop. Just if you turn in your work on time, it's going to be less stress on you. And you will gain more from that because you won't be so stressed out. And that really helps you kind of go forward into a new week without feeling that stress and go right into learning. Participate in discussions. You know, when I was an online student, I pretty much, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, thought that was a big waste of time. I was like, oh, you know, this is just something that's going to be a big waste of time. Oh, Christy, you love animals. Me too. But I actually, pretty much when I graduated from SCAD after the online learning experience and after doing discussions, my whole mind changed. My whole mind changed about that. It was actually, I gained the most out of the discussions, I feel like, because how we were discussing, you put in what you get out. So like whatever you put into it is what you're going to gain. If you're not substantially posting and you're not really kind of exploring different perspectives when you're responding to your classmates, you're not going to get too much out of it. But it's all based on what you guys put out there. Participate in the discussions. That's where everybody else is going to gain something too. If you kind of show another perspective, like I said, you're going to gain a lot from that. And I walked away, like I said, holy crap, like I learned so much from the discussions, different perspectives, different views, different techniques, different methods. I had no idea. Like people had changed my mind about certain things that I thought about in those discussions, which was pretty cool. Learn something new every week, you know, not just in design. You know, it's always good to kind of get, like I said, other perspectives, even when you're a designer, just so that you can bring that to your skill set. So even learning something new every week doesn't have to involve design necessarily. Maybe it's, you know, with software, something to add to your arsenal. And then have fun. You know, a lot of the times we're all stressed out with life and school, and you're always worried about, you know, am I going to pass this class? You know, I need to get an A, which is great. You should be kind of, you know, have that in your radar, but also have fun. This is, I miss going to school. I went back to school, like I said, for my master's, and I miss it. And I thought, you know, oh, you know, I can't wait for this to be over, but I actually miss being in school. This is where you can actually experiment and have fun, and kind of test the waters. So just have fun with it. Okay, so what if you cannot meet a deadline? So again, common sense things, reach out to me, email me before you miss the deadline and or the lab instructor. We're here to try to help you and be more flexible with you. Please include in the email your reason for missing the deadline and when you will be turning in the assignment and the assessment to me. Must have exact day and time so that we, you know, I have 3 sections of this class. So whenever I go through late work, you know, it can be tedious, but I want to know kind of when to expect your submission so that I can give that, you know, feedback to you as soon as I can. So common sense, just reach out to me. All right, so week 1 overview, we kind of talked about where you're from, so we can skip on down here to researching computer maintenance. We're going to talk about researching cloud-based storage. And again, we're going to go over your discussions and then go right into your file structure, setup, maintenance on your computer, and then creating a presentation on system backup. So pretty much this is going to be going into the discussion and then what you are doing for your assignments. All right, don't forget to introduce yourself in that introduction area. All right, so let's talk about researching computer maintenance. Before I go forward here, does anybody have any questions for me? Sometimes I go too fast and I forget to ask. If you guys have any questions, we're good? Okay. So we're gonna look at some, okay, great. We're gonna look at some scenarios here about keeping your computer hardware and software healthy. And a lot of these things are kind of common sense, but some of them you might not be aware of. So that's why we're reviewing this as well. And you guys will be discussing this in the discussions. So we have 3 different scenarios. We're going to, you don't have to pick them, but we're going to talk about each one of these so you don't actually have to pick them. So let's do number 1, which is Sandy. And Sandy has an issue. Her problem is she saves files to her desktop. How many of you do that? If I were to look at your desktop, what would it look like? Maybe I'm afraid to ask, right? Oh, so she saves files to her desktop. You guys, it's a mess. Uh-oh. So maybe this is a good thing. Not many? Okay. She can't find her files because she has so many, they overlap each other. She doesn't know where else to save her files. Her computer keeps freezing. So how do you think, Sandy, how can you help Sandy? Why is this making her computer freeze up? Why do you think? Backup files? Where should she save her files if it's not on her desktop? What do you guys think? On the cloud? Taking up too much space? Documents? Cloud? Yep. Should there be any organization in this new spot, you think, once she does? Of course, right? Yeah. Because you can always throw your mess somewhere else and it's still a mess, right? It's still going to be a mess. So you probably save files to your desktop pretty much for easy access. I know I have done it. You know, it's just something that you just do sometimes. And I'll be doing that today, actually. She needs to make files. Good. Yes, exactly. Instead of opening up like a pesky folder, it's easier to just, save it right there on your desktop. However, if you perform a system restore, say if you're having issues, these files aren't protected and will be deleted if you have them on your desktop. So they're not on your hard drive. They're not on any type of hard drive or external. The worst issue of all with desktop storage has to be the clutter. So you have, a lot of clutter, a lot of disorganization. I've had students, I've worked with them on Zoom, and they've had files everywhere, not just on desktop, and it takes 10 minutes to try to find the file that they're looking for. So, you could be missing files, you could be deleting them by accident, they could be completely wiped off if you have to do a system restore on your computer, and it might just take forever to get your file up and running if you need it. So, knowing that, we need to have better organization and a better spot for that. So a hard drive, if you go up to your Finder on your computer, your hard drive, if you're on a Mac, is your little home button. I always say home button. Let me see if I can actually share my actual screen here. Hold on one second. Okay, let me share my entire screen. Share screen. So if I go up to my Go button up here on my Finder, can you guys see that? Get my chat up here so I can read what your comments are. Okay, great. So if I go up to Go, my home button here is my hard drive. Now I have other external hard drives, and I also have cloud, and we'll talk about that in a second, but that's where you would find that. So don't put them on your desktop. If you can, I have a couple folders you can see here just for quick access, but typically what I do is I just kind of, when I'm done doing that, quick access to that, I just pull them onto a hard drive. So that's where you would access that. Okay, scenario 2 is James. So James has a problem too. And his problem is he downloaded over 1,000 new fonts. Okay, that's a lot, which is fine, but his programs take forever to open. His programs like Word or Illustrator, and he doesn't know why his computer is not working properly. And what do you think's going on here? Why is this making his programs open slowly? Has anybody ever had that happen to the fonts? Yep. What should he do to fix the problem, you think? Maybe delete some fonts, right? And there's other options. What other options does he have for fonts that will not slow its computer? Yep, get rid of the ones, move to a flash drive. Good. Yep. Yeah, so James here, he's font crazy, which, I could be guilty of too. But it's slowing it down, and we don't want that to happen. So too many fonts, it will definitely slow the boot process down a bit as those fonts are loaded into memory. So if you notice that, basically what you guys said, just kind of editing out certain fonts, saving, you can also save them out to a hard drive as well. Just to kind of show you another option here, let me stop sharing. I'm going to share my screen again. If you want to try a different option that might not slow your processor down, in your cloud, and I have an update here. I didn't even know I had an update. Oh, XD. In your cloud, you actually have fonts in here that you can access that are available to you as well. And you can search obviously by classification and all of that, but that pretty much is a good way to handle the, instead of downloading them, you can automatically install them here. Okay, so I just want to show you that option. All right, I guess I gotta update. Okay, so that's another way to handle that situation. Okay, here is oh, somebody, does that take space? I mean, it does, but it's not like you're downloading it into an actual font folder. It's through cloud. So it's not as it doesn't oh, sorry, I'm trying to get my chat up here so I can see what you guys are writing. Sorry. It doesn't use up as much space. There we go. Yeah, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying to pull the chat since I stopped sharing my screen. Okay, so Letitia has a problem. Her trash can is super full. She is afraid if she empties the trash can, she might need one of the files later, and she keeps getting a hard drive almost full error message. Has anybody ever had that happen to them? Do you know that when you put something in the trash, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gone, right? And it's still using up space. So what is not yet? Okay. Why is this practice causing an error message? She should go through her trash and erase old files. Yep. Tablet's almost full. Yep. So it's the error message is it's still taking up space even though it's in the trash can. So she needs to empty it or save whatever she has in the trash can. If she really needs it, put it onto an external or a cloud hard drive. What other options does she have for keeping files but freeing up her hard drive? I just basically said that. So think of it as your disk, you have a disk on your computer, and if it's almost full, that's really, really bad news, right? For any drive. So a hard drive should never really get beyond 85% capacity, especially like a startup disk, as you will experience slowness and errors, and further you can get errors just like Letitia did. So you can hear my clock chiming here, sorry. So if your startup disk is full and you get a message of warning from your computer, if you're on a Mac, this is really kind of a serious indication that you need to free up storage immediately. So deleting files from your Mac, move files to an external or cloud drive, like I said, or install a second internal drive onto your Mac is also an option. You love that clock? I have always students commenting, oh, I missed that clock. Yeah, so that's important to know, because I think I didn't know this when I was starting out as a student. I didn't know that when you put stuff in the trash, you need to empty it or else it'll still take up space. So that's important to know. All right, keeping your computer hardware and software healthy. So some of this, again, obviously is common sense as well, but we'll go over some of this stuff too. So at least 15% of your hard drive space needs to be free. That will definitely allow it to process, work a little bit. There won't be as many sluggish issues that you'll have. Empty your trash can regularly. We just talked about that. A cluttered desktop makes things disorganized and hard to find, but it can also slow computers down. And then having too many open browser tabs can slow down your computer. I think that I see this a lot too. Sometimes it's just like, you're in a quick hurry and you have things open. And I've had students come in, they're like, I don't understand why this is not working as quickly. And it's because they have the whole Adobe Creative Suite open along with Word and, 2 browsers, internet browsers open, and maybe music app open. So, kind of closing those down, and even just doing a restart if you're having issues will definitely help. All right, how many of you use cloud storage? Have you heard of it? Do you use it? What do you use? Yes? Good. Most of you probably have heard it at least. Maybe not use it, but good. Yes, this is my preferred method of saving, backing up files for me is the cloud storage. So what is it and why use it? So we all kind of understand where we're at here. Okay, so you can share your files if you have cloud, which is great. You can free up disk drive space. You know, I do this a lot with pictures, music, stuff like that, so that my computer is pretty much not, you know, bogged down by that. So that's great. And also with school stuff, you know, all my information for classes I have on a cloud storage site. I actually have two storage sites that I use. I use Google Drive and I use Dropbox. So we'll talk about that too. There's other options as well. You can back up your files this way. That's super important. You can access your files from anywhere on any device. It still takes up space that way. Yeah, I'm sure it probably does because it syncs up, but it's not going to be as bad as when you have all of your files on your hard drive. So cloud storage involves stashing data on hardware in a remote physical location, which can be accessed from any device via the internet. Clients send files to a data server maintained by a cloud provider instead of, or as well as storing it on their own drive. There are options, like I said, 4 different types of options for cloud-based software, but you need to use the internet. And certain industries like us as designers, we use a lot cloud storage. I use this a lot teaching. Real estate agents but can benefit from using cloud-based storage. Pilots, professional photographers, you know, international business consultants, really anybody who has a lot of, you know, files and especially in business can benefit from the cloud storage. Now there's pros and cons about both. What do you guys think would be a con of using a Google Drive, or not Google Drive, but a cloud-based external? And we talked about the pros, and here's different options, like I stated, that I use. And yep, the internet. You have to have the internet. Exactly. So Google Drive has 15 gigabytes of free storage space. If you download that, sync that up, you can there's access to Google One apps. That's another good thing. And then syncs with Google Hangout Meets. So if you haven't used that yet, we actually use, geez, I want to say, what is it? Teams. We use Teams, Microsoft Teams. It's kind of similar to Dropbox is another one that I use. It's 2 gigabytes of free storage space that you get. Block syncing for backup, and share files with anyone, which is nice. You can send a link to, you know, sometimes I have students that their project is too big in size to submit into Canvas. So I have them, you know, hey, can you put this on Dropbox or Google Drive and send me the link? That way I can access it and, you know, evaluate it. Creative Cloud is another one. It's 15 gigabytes of free storage space, access to Google One apps, and syncs with Google Hangout Meets. This is a great way to also back up your work, like I said. When I worked for the ad agency in Ohio, we did the old-fashioned backing up because it was a long time ago. We used to do it on backup tapes, and we would run it every day, and then somebody would take it home with them. We would kind of alternate who took it home. And the tapes would have all of our work on there from clients. And it was super important because we worked in, it was an old grist mill, which was kind of cool. It was converted into an office space, but it was in the middle of the woods, you know, in Akron, Ohio. And our studio had, you know, who knows, there could be a fire and all of our stuff would be destroyed. So that tape was our way of backing it up. This is before we had all of these options for the cloud. So it's great to see how, you know, much time and how technology has changed since then. But backing up is, you know, just like I say to my students, I used to say it, you know, email yourself your projects, save it in several spots so that if something were to happen to your hard drive or computer, you can still have access to your project. So, you know, that's a great incentive, and the great thing about cloud, you know, saving to the cloud. So keeping your computer hardware and software healthy, and we all kind of, you know, I'm kind of guilty of this too. Some of the best practices I tend to forget and need to do so. Remind myself. They can have breaches. Yep, that's a great con for that. So start thinking about the pros and the cons too when you're discussing cloud-based backing up. So keep your computer and application up to date. Settings, update, and security. If you have Windows, if you have like a PC, you can set it through. You can check your updates through settings. You can go to the help section on your PC, check for updates or options, check for updates there. Creative Cloud desktop app. You just saw me kind of check. I had an update for my XD. You just saw that. So just make sure you're getting those updates in. I have to do mine soon. Back up your data regularly. So you can go to, if you're on a PC, you can go to settings, update and security, and backup. Delete unnecessary files and programs using disk cleanup. So you can right click on your C drive if you have a PC and choose properties, disk cleanup. And this is all PC related. We're getting down to the Mac here in a second. You can do maintenance scans, perform Windows maintenance scans, right click on your C drive, choose properties, and then go to your tools tab and error checking. I don't have a PC, so I can't show you this, but this is the steps that you would do. Optimize and defrag drive. You can do this as well. Right click on your C drive, go to your choose properties, and then click on tools tab, and you can choose optimize. Check your startup list to, you know, too many programs and apps that start when your computer will slow it down. You can open your task manager, then click startup tab, disable the programs you do not need to start automatically. So that kind of helps. On a Mac, have you ever heard of Time Machine? Time Machine. Okay, so on your Mac, you have a little icon called Time Machine, and it's in your launch pad, and I'll show you that in a second. It's a built-in backup feature of your Mac. It's a complete backup solution, but you can use other backup methods as well. I actually don't use that. I just got a new computer, so I have not set, I'm going to share my screen here. I haven't set my Time Machine at all. But if you go to your launch pad and you click on your launch pad, you will see the Time Machine. Where is it? Where's Time Machine at? Give me 1 second, I'll find it here. I'm not seeing it here. Hold on, mission control. It should be like a little, let's see, it's my Canon. There's Siri. Sorry guys, I'm a little, I guess you can't find it in the Launchpad. I thought you could. System preferences is it was in the other? Oh, did I miss that? Oh, in here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, right here. Thank you. I was like, am I losing my mind? So Time Machine is here. I think it's in system preferences too. Like if you go up to Apple, system preferences is really key to, I should probably hide those alerts. Sorry guys. Is really key to your efficiency as a designer. You can set your preferences to maximize your efficiency. And also, you know, you can do certain things in here, like your Time Machine is right here, that will, you know, make your computer run a little bit smoother too. There's security and privacy button here. There's also, you can set your dock, your mission control, desktop screensaver. You can kind of clean it up there as well. But Time Machine is here. And what that is, I'm going to click on that. I have not done this yet because I just bought this computer. So, but this is what it looks like. You can select your backup disk, and what it does is it can back up automatically, which is nice. So if you were to say that the computer is damaged or whatever, or you lose a file, you can actually access it here. So it would run and back up, and then you can, you could grab your files back if you lost them on your computer, an actual hard drive, and it will save it. So that's great. And then obviously it runs, throughout the day, so it's backing it up. It's not like, 2 days behind. You're going to get the most updated files that you saved if you lose them on your hard drive. Cleaning your computer, how many times, I practice what I preach, right? I need to clean my computer again. I usually do this probably every month. Monitor cleaning, key cleaning, blowing out your keyboard. I've, gotten air before, those little cans of air, because it's crazy how many little, in between the keys and the keyboard, how you can, especially if you have animals too, how you can attract all those yucky things. And, obviously it affects the computer. I actually had one of my speakers, I think because I had it outside in the humidity, one of my speakers on my new computer is not quite working right. So, it's like one of those things where you got to keep your computer out of humidity as well. Some of the things that you don't think about. All right. Any questions so far? I know this is pretty much all pretty, common sense stuff. Are we all good to go? All right, let's go through your discussion here. And I'm not going to read through every single detail, so I just wanted to review it and see if you guys have any questions. So each week, again, you have 2 discussions. So let's go to discussion 1 for week 1. And just like we were talking about with computer maintenance, go ahead and read through your career relevancy information here. I will not read this word for word. Background information, we kind of talked about this a little bit, talking about backups. There is a little video here, the history of the operating system for Mac, which is kind of interesting. Take a look at that. I'm going to go skip down here to the prompt. Okay, so in this discussion, we will talk about strategies for keeping your computer hardware and software healthy. Conduct research, system backups, and computer maintenance strategies that are considered best practices. Identify any habits that you developed with your computer maintenance that may be deemed as a bad habit. What habits do you think designers can develop, and which of these do you think could turn into a negative habit for them? When you respond to your peers, consider questioning one another on whether the habits they are keeping or willing to change would offer the opposite outcome they expect or may not work in a work environment. Explain your reasoning. All right, so for your citation, you might use articles that show examples of ways to keep your software healthy. You can also find articles from experts that suggest ways to deal with resolutions in real-life situations for computer maintenance. All right, so with all that, just make sure you're touching upon every single requirement here so that you can not only gain the most from your discussions each week, but also gain as much credit you can get, the full credit. Excuse me. I started off this discussion just kind of giving you an idea of how I would, hold on one second. There we go. Nothing but morning stuff here. Kind of like how I would go about answering this question here. So if you need kind of an extra, an extra hint to how you would answer this discussion question, definitely read through mine. I'm talking about how, sometimes I do things that sometimes are not good in regards to computer maintenance. So go ahead and read through my, my little blurb here and, kind of research other ways that you believe that, explain your reasoning, supports your reasoning and your perspective in regards to how you go about the best practices for computer maintenance, It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into this any more in detail. Does anybody have any questions about the discussion? Is it pretty clear? to you guys? Okay. I'm getting all these alerts here. Laura, I might have to turn this off. Hold on one second. Can you guys hear those dings? Oh, it's driving me nuts. Okay, yes. Let me see if I can turn this off real quick here. I'm just gonna quit it. I don't want you guys to be, I'm kind of getting annoyed by it. Okay, so I don't want you guys getting annoyed. All right, got lots of messages. All right, discussion 2, let's go ahead and look at this. And this, this one's gonna be talking about cloud-based storage, like we just talked about. Also know there's other ways of storing your information. Somebody had mentioned a flash drive. That's what you plug into your computer on USB. It's just like a little thumb drive. And then also you have external hard drives that are kind of like that, but have more space and, you know, they're a little bit larger. I have 2 that are about, I don't know, 3 inches by, or no, probably 4 inches by 3 inches. So you can get them smaller now with more, more space. I think mine's a terabyte. And I think I actually purchased mine on Amazon. It was Seagate. You know what? Mine doesn't either. Mine doesn't have USB ports either. I actually had to get one of those converters, which I find kind of annoying because you know, these computers are not cheap. So I had to get one of those little USB converters to plug in my externals. But you can get an external hard drive like on Amazon. I think I paid around $30 for mine. So it's pretty cheap. Yeah, exactly. It's always add-ons, right? All right, so that's always an option too. If you're not, you know, going to do aren't interested in the cloud-based storage, you can also do an external. So go ahead and read through this career relevancy, the background information, and I'm going to read through the prompt here and see if you have any questions. So in this discussion, imagine that you're attending a design club where you meet a student nearing the end of their bachelor's degree. When you tell them you are new to the program, they remark that they are jealous of your new computer. Their computer, which is a few years old and has all their design files saved on it, is getting slow. They are pretty sure they will need a new one but cannot afford it. Consider what you would discuss with the student as far as options for increased computer performance. In your opinion, do you think cloud storage would be the best option for anyone having problems with their computer? If so, why? And if not, what options do you think could be just as good or even better? When responding to others, consider how you can learn more about best practices to support file storage and computer performance. Think about how you can ask questions and challenge one another to learn more about file storage preferences. In addition, consider sharing your own experience with computer performance and any tips you may have. Don't forget to add a citation. You might use articles that show examples of company services and cloud storage options. You can also find articles from experts that suggest ways to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of your computer and its storage options. Same thing with the requirements for your response. And I just started the discussion here talking about, you know, time is of essence. So I'm talking about just some tips. Save to your computer, clean out your computer monthly. So, you know, start thinking about what you would like to show in your discussion in regards to talking to this person who's jealous of your new computer. All right. So, you know, how would you go about, you know, explaining and talking to them on how they can increase their computer performance? All right. So you can kind of start it out as if you're talking to this person as well, and then add in citations to support your perspective. Any questions about that? So you have two discussions. Okay. If you do, let me know. Also, don't forget, we have the lecture quiz here. So once, you know, we're done here, you should have, obviously, the answers to the live lecture quiz. I'm going to take a 5-minute break here before we get into your assignments. And we can go into we're going to go right into your assignment 1. And I'll show you how to start that. We'll go over that. And then we'll go right into your assessment. And we'll review it. And then I'll show you kind of how to start that as well. Does that sound good? Take a 5-minute break, you guys. Grab your coffee, sugar, whatever you need to get through the next portion of this. All right, and I'll see you back in 5. Okay, can you hear me? All right, let's get going. Awesome. Did anybody get started on this yet? Maybe not, maybe we're waiting. We're waiting for the lecture. All right, well, I think you guys, okay, I think you guys will enjoy this. Have you guys ever worked in PowerPoint before? Yes, good. Okay, so you're gonna be good. You're gonna be using PowerPoint for this. And we're gonna be pretty much setting up a presentation. And this is just for you to kind of, again, research system backup options. You guys kind of can thoroughly go through each of these topics here. You're going to answer certain questions, but basically that's kind of what we're going to be doing for this assignment, this first assignment. So go ahead and read through the background. We just talked about cloud-based backup options, external hard drive options. There's like a little video here kind of looking at both local backup and cloud backup and how they, kind of comparisons for those. So that's kind of a nice little resource there. All right, then what you're gonna do is once you get all that information, you're gonna scroll down here to the prompt. So in this assignment, you will be creating a PowerPoint presentation and either a Microsoft Word written script or an audio narration analyzing system backup options. Your presentation and script need to address the following questions. What does it mean to back up your system? Why is backing up a good idea? What could happen if you do not back up your system? What is a cloud-based backup device? How does it work? What are the positives? What are the negatives? What are some example sites? We just looked at some. We talked about positive and negatives as well and how it works. So this is all kind of just you creating these slides to educate somebody on the pros and cons. What is an external backup device? How does it work? What are its positives and what are its negatives? So you're going to pretty much be comparing the two. What are some examples? And then number 12 is moving forward as a student, how will you be backing up your computer? Kind of answering that at the end there. So you're going to have a minimum, you can have more, but at least have 12 slides, including an opening title slide with your name and presentation title and a closing reference slide. So the last slide should be, your citations for where you found some of those facts. You can choose a pre-made template or work from a blank presentation. Implement slide design best practices you have learned in previous classes. Address all questions in the prompt. Now the script, how do I feel about templates or themes? What do you mean by that? How do I feel? As you, some say don't use templates. I think that you're talking about just in the design world in general, because there are templates that people use. Yeah, so I mean, there's there's pros and cons about it. I mean, there's designers making the templates, so there is a business for it. I don't necessarily, there's definitely reasons why you would use them as a designer. If say if you have a client and you need to get stuff done very quickly, it's a nice easy way to accomplish a task very quickly without creating it from scratch. But the cons would be, everybody has access to it, so it's not going to be unique or original. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was going off. I wasn't quite sure what your question was. In the assignment, you can use templates for sure. Yeah, templates are pretty much what PowerPoint, I mean, you could do blank presentation and then add into that. But yeah, use a theme. Yep, sorry, I kind of got on a tangent there. So you're going to have a minimum of 500 words in the written script. Somebody had a question about that. I was confused about the script. So the script is pretty much a Word document. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can, this one, and I'll show you examples and stuff like that. So you'll be clear on that. That's a good question though. Minimum of 500 words, that's all together. And I'm not going to be, counting each word, but I will know if it's, you're substantially answering each question. If you're going to be answering it with like 2 words, obviously it's not substantial. Have at least 2 citations. So the written script is pretty much just a separate Word file that you can put all your information in, and you can actually pull off of that for your PowerPoint presentation. Yes, it can be. Yep. So if you think about it, like PowerPoint presentations, you don't really want to put a ton of information on. So you can put key points on your PowerPoint presentation. You can have, a couple lines of descriptions, but leave the main chunk of information in your script so that you can submit that with your 12 slides, and your 12 slides aren't crammed full of information because, obviously, in order for a presentation to be effective, it shouldn't have tons and tons of copy on it. So if you want to, you can either, well, you have to either submit the script with the 12 slides, and you can use that script if you want to do the narration, and you could just have it off to the side and, kind of record your voice as you go through each slide, and that would be your other option. If we record, do we need these separate Word document? No. If you do a recording, as long as you have it and I can hear it, you're good. You won't need your written script. It's either or. It's just nice to have a written script if you do the recording so that you can actually read off of something, but you don't have to necessarily submit it. If you don't do the narration, then submit the script. I know that seems confusing, but okay, so also pay attention to spelling and grammar, address all the questions in the prompt. And then audio narration, if you do that, it's a minimum of 4 minutes in length. Use PowerPoint to record your narration along with your slides. Talk through all the questions in the prompt, and be sure to speak in a clear, easy to understand manner. The only thing that the past 2 mods that I've been teaching this class, I have not been able to get my PowerPoint to record for some reason, and I'll show you kind of how to do that. I'm going to post also instructions on how to do that. I'm not quite sure what's going on with my computer. I just have not been able to record it, but I will show you how to do that so that at least you have that option. Okay, so you're going to save your presentation as DGD101, assignment 1, your first and last name. It's going to be a PowerPoint, so the last file format should be .pptx, so pay attention to that when you save that out. You don't want this to be anything else. You don't necessarily have to put this. Once you save it, it's going to add the file extension on there. And upload it. You can save your script as a Word document and upload it, and then export your presentation recording, and you can upload that. If you want to use, I've had students actually be very successful in using the recording option in PowerPoint. I just have not been able to get that to work on my end for some reason. So let me go ahead and show you how I would do this. Actually, let me open up my instructions here too, because I'm going to upload this for you guys so that you know exactly what to do for the recording here. All right. All right, so here we go. Let me open this up. What you're going to do is you're going to, yeah, it is a little timing thing. Let's see here. So you're going to pretty much just take all of these questions and copy them. So go ahead and highlight this. Command C would be copy. And then go to your Word file. Let me pick up my Word file to show you an example here. Here we go. And share my screen. All right, so I started kind of answering some of these questions here very quickly. So here I am. I have my script, my name, class. Actually, this date should be different. June, what is it, 23rd today? Yep. So I just have each question here listed, and then what I would do, and I'm not going to go through each of these because I want you guys to do this. This is your research, but I just showed you here as an example. I'm using a citation and also kind of answering it in my own words here after citation is listed here. It's always good to, if you use a citation, it's always good to kind of end the citation with your own thoughts so that it's just not copying and pasting. When you do have the citation, you want to make sure that you reference where you cited that from, and you'll use that on, you'll have a separate slide at the very end of your presentation to add that to. So here I am kind of answering this first question, go through each question, and that will help you set up your slides, okay? And then once you're done, just save that out. And then you can, again, use this on the side if you're recording, and you can read off of these, which is kind of nice to have. All right, so open up PowerPoint. Once you're done answering, I would probably answer those questions first, obviously, and then go into your PowerPoint. PowerPoint has, and I just opened this one, different design themes. I know somebody just asked about that. So if you go File, New, you can do New from Template if you want, and choose a specific design template. I don't know if you guys can see this. You could choose something that is, you know, obviously pertinent to what you're doing your presentation on here. So let me look up computer. I don't know if you guys can see me doing this, so let me just share my whole desktop. There we go. Okay. So I just typed in computer here in the search bar, and here are some things that come up. So let me see, choose this one. There we go. So it comes up with presentation slides here that you can utilize. So right now it's showing me 11. You don't necessarily have to use each of these, but if you're really kind of used to using PowerPoint, you know what to do. So I'm going to show you a couple things if you don't. So at this point, I probably would have the title, which would be, oh, excuse me, guys. I had somebody's. I would probably just title this System Backup Options. And you can, you can design this any way that you wish. Do assignment 1. And then have your name. And you could even have the date too, completely up to you. Kind of nice to have all of that. So that'll be your beginning slide. And then you go into your second slide. And what I would do is just to go ahead and open up your Word file and copy and paste, say the questions in here. So the first question would be, what does it mean to back up your system? And you can, you can use bullet points and then, kind of highlight certain things. And then in your scripts, obviously, you can, if you're doing a narration, you can expand on that, or expound on that, I should say, a little bit further. I actually did a really long quote here, which probably wouldn't be good in terms of, there's a lot to read here. So maybe in my narration, I would say this quote, but I wouldn't have it necessarily on this slide. I would just, kind of keep it to a very simple line of just like this, like a simple sentence. And then have that in the script kind of to support it so that I can see. And I'll look at both of those. Even if you don't do the narration, I'll look at your script and make sure that you broke it down even further in detail, because you don't want a ton of copy on here. If you say you don't want a slide here, say that this wouldn't work for the third slide, you can just go to your new slide option here and choose one that will work. And there's certain ones that will actually give you an area to, post a picture. So if that's something that you want to do, like say for instance, you found a Dropbox icon and you're showing the differences between cloud versus local backing up, external backup, you can put, you can find icons for, Dropbox or Google Drive, and you can add that to here. And it's a more of a visual, way of explaining what each of these brands are too. So that would be, so the second question, you can delete these if you don't need certain slides. And then at the very end, obviously, once you're done answering all the questions, at the very end, you would do a reference slide. And I actually have, it's kind of like a cooking show where I actually have one that's finished. Let me pull that up. And let's delete this one. This one, I think I did put all of the quote on here, you can see, but I just wanted to show you this so you can see how I set my slides up here. And I would just add in this information. I'm not going to show you my information here just because I want you guys, again, to do the research, but there's just different layouts that you can choose to, and here's my reference slide at the very end. You can choose to visually and verbally explain it very easily. Now, I do have another student example I'm going to show you here too, just so you kind of have a good idea of what, past students, typical A student would turn in here. Excuse me. So this would be the beginning slide. And kind of did like a little overview. Feel free to add stuff to it. You just have to have a minimum of 12 slides. So, but see how they're kind of adding in different little details there that go with the content. Now this slide's probably, there's a lot on here. I'd probably say it would be good to edit that down a little bit. This one's actually continued. So I would say, edit that down to its basic highlights there. Negatives, positives. And again, you can show, like, here's a good example of them showing the different favicons for each of these, and so that you can visually see what you're talking about brand wise. And here them showing an external hard drive. This is what an external hard drive looks like, could look like. Negatives. Again, these could be just very short little points. They don't have to be long-winded like this because, best practices for presentation, you don't really want a ton of information on each slide. So I would say this is definitely more on the heavy copy side. As long as you have this in your script and then just key points on your slide, that's great. Credits and then references. But I wanted to show this to you because it's always good to see kind of what other students have worked on. And when you're done, just save it out. Let's go File, Save As, or Save. Just make sure that, I'm going to save this to my desktop. Its file format is the PowerPoint presentation .ppxt. You don't have to add the .pptx on it. It'll automatically save that or put the file extension on there. You just have to make sure that that's a PowerPoint. Because I've had students, the reason why I'm saying that is because I had students submit some really funky files that were not PowerPoint. So any questions about that? Oh, and I wanted to show you really quickly how you would record, although it doesn't work on my end. Let me pull that back up here. And maybe it'll work this time. I don't usually use the recording option on here, so I'm just like, huh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna add these instructions to you guys. You can see here on the right-hand side of my presentation slide, I have how to record a voiceover. So I'm going to give this to you guys in, I think in announcements is where I posted it so that you guys have access to this. Okay, so you're going to open up your PowerPoint once you're done. If you want to do a voiceover, let's see here. It says to go over to slideshow, and there's a record slideshow option right here. Now, when I drop down this record slideshow, I don't have the options that it's showing on this side here. It should give you two options, record from current slide and record from beginning. So let me see. Let me see if I could actually hit play here first. And maybe I could record this way. Hold on one second. Okay. So I'm going to go play from start, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Hold on one second, guys. Play from current slide, presenter view. Hold on one second. Let me set this up. Browse by individual window. There we go. Okay. There we go. That's what I was. Can you guys see that? Let me share my screen. All right, let's try this. Okay, it's not going to let me from there either. All right, so I don't know. For some reason, clear timing on all slides. Let me see. Maybe I just need to clear it. Record slideshow. If I hit record slideshow, it's going to open this section up, and it looks like it's recording now. And you can talk through this and actually use the next button to go to the next button, to the next slide, to the next slide. And it looks like it's recording. Okay, so it has a little recording button up here. When I go to end this, though, this is where I have some problems. You can actually add notes here too. So if you want to add your script in there, you can add your notes as well. Let me end this here real quick and see what happens. Yes. Oh, maybe it did record. Let's go see. I just don't know if it's saved it somewhere. Okay. Play for video in full screen mode. See, I don't have this record button here, so that's why it's a little different on my end. Yeah. Maybe it just puts it on there. Let's see. Rehearse timings. I just never got this to actually work on my end, but I do have students that actually had this work for them. So I'm going to post these instructions on, like I said, in announcements, so you guys can have that at least. Let me play from start and see if it starts audio-wise. Nope. Okay. Very strange. Yeah, really, really weird. I actually have been trying to figure this out for some time here. It's a record slideshow. Same thing up here. So if you go up to your menu bar, you'll see that as well. Let's see if that actually does anything different. Nope. Okay. Well, there you go. Yours might show differently. Let me end this and see if it. Toe timer slide. Oh. Unless it automatically shows it. Let me see here real quick. No. Let me save this out real quick. Maybe it automatically does that in there, and I just have to save it out. Trying different things here. If it's not working for you, though, for some reason I haven't really had success with this narration-wise. I'm not sure if I have to update something and that's what's going on, but I do have students that are successful with this. So go ahead and at least try it. Save it to my desktop. Nope. Okay. So there you go. Might run into the same problem as me. When you hit record slideshow in the slides, there should be a speaker icon on the top button. Once you finish recording, when you pause, you get the option to stop or replay. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. Here, hold on. Let me try it again. Maybe I'm not seeing, it looks like it's recording up here. And then there's a stop button and a play button, but I don't see a record button. Very weird. End show, and you think it would save it. The total time of your slideshow was, do you want to save the new slide timing? To stop or replay, maybe not. I use the, okay. It must be recording because look, it's showing my number one slide is at 22 seconds. And then my second slide is at 3 seconds. So it must be recording here. I must have to save this out in a certain way. I just find it odd that I can't listen to it. Yeah, and it could be like a mic issue too. So if I were to go up to system preferences, let's see. You can check this too. If you go to your sound, I have a built-in microphone here. That's my input, so that's good. So it's not that. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna have to, it looks like it's recording, but I just can't review it for some reason. So I'll have to look into that a little bit more. If anybody figures it out before me, let me know. That'd be great. Because I have been trying to, and I haven't been successful. But I have had students that have had success with this. And I don't think I have any PowerPoint updates here. Just XD, yeah. So I don't know. Very strange. Anyway, besides that, does anybody have any questions about what needs to be, what this is? Any questions about anything that I went over? No questions, okay. Yeah, I actually have, I'm gonna reach out to the other instructor. I'm teaching 3 sections of this class and there's another instructor teaching another section. And I'm gonna collaborate with her and see if she can figure it out too with me. Because that does bother me. Obviously I know exactly where to go. I just don't know how, if I'm missing something. Okay, so we'll look into that. If I find out anything, I'll let you know. All right, so your assessment, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So when you're done, before we go on to this, just save out your PowerPoint, save your script out if you didn't do the narration, and that's what you would submit for your assignment 1. I think it's fairly easy there. Okay, so you're going to be talking about, actually, you're going to be doing some file organization and system maintenance. We're going to be going deeper into that. So go ahead and read through how to stay organized, file folders. Super, super important. I think everybody does it somewhat differently. So if you were to walk into an ad agency, they probably have their own file organization set up and they will train you on how to properly organize your stuff, especially if you have a shared hard drive that you're using. It's very important because you're working with other people. Usually if you work in an office, say like ad agency or in-house, you're going to be working with other people, other designers. So if you take a day off or if somebody needs to get to your work because an emergency came up and you're at lunch or something, they need to know where that information is. If you have no file organization, obviously you're going to be in trouble because they won't be able to find that. So it's super, super important. I've had several experiences with people who I've worked side by side with who have horrible file organization issues, and we've lost jobs. We've, you know, things have just, it can get really messy really fast. So if everybody's on the same page at, you know, at the office, whether they do it differently, you just train yourself to how they do it. But there's always a way to organize your files, even on your own computer, that will help you stay organized and be more efficient as a student. So we're gonna go skip down to the prompts. So in this assessment, you will set up a file folder structure for all your 100 level courses. The file folder structure will keep you organized both in this course and in your future classes. In addition, you will set up a free cloud-based storage account and backup schedule. This will ensure that you are regularly saving your work in multiple locations. This means if anything happens to your computer while you are a student, you will not lose any valuable portfolio projects. In this assessment, this assessment has 4 parts to it. It looks like a lot. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's actually really, really easy and simple. Be sure to do every part as you can get full credit. You can download a set of step-by-step instructions here or see them below. All right, so assignment requirements. So you have part 1, setting up your file folder structure. So you're gonna open your Finder, and just to let you know, there's 4 different ways that you can, let me see here, hold on one second. Okay, so there's 4 different ways that you can display content in your Finder. And let me go ahead and share that. Share my whole desktop here. You see here I think my clock's a little off too because it's past 1 o'clock, so interesting. Okay, so your Finder up here, there's 4 different ways to find things up here on your Finder. This is your Finder. Okay, 4 different ways. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a new folder. So you're gonna go to File, New Folder. Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on your desktop. You're gonna go up to where it says Go, if you have a Mac, and you're gonna go to where it says Documents. So you can either go up here and hit Documents. There's other ways to go there too, but that's one way. Okay, so in your Documents folder, unless you created, I have 3 folders here, so just ignore that in my Documents. If you have other folders, just ignore that too. We're going to create new folders. And this Documents folder is basically also saves on your hard drive. So that's kind of what we're doing here to organize your file folders. Okay, so click on the Documents folder, click at the top of the screen, hit File, New Folder. So File, New Folder. And it's going to place it right into your Documents folder if you have that selected in Documents. And it's going to be highlighted. What you're going to do is you're going to rename this. So you're just going to click right over top and inside that little name section there, and you're going to name it, you can delete the untitled folder if you want, or just type over DGD101 and hit return to set it. And there you go. Double click on this folder to open it. So just double click. And there's different viewing options up here. I have mine set to like a list. You can do like icons. The only thing with that is it's going to show you the folder. It's not going to show you what's inside there. You could do a list. You have to do a drop down if you want to see what's in there. I like to do the columns just because you can pull this out and oh, there's my taxes and all that. Okay. You can pull this out and see different columns within here. Okay. So with that selected, your DGD101, we're going to do another folder. So we're going to go File, New Folder. Inside that folder, so you can see this is nested inside there, right? And we're going to name this Week 1. Very easy. If I can get it to, there we go. All right, so we have our main folder and then week 1. And that's pretty easy, right? So we are here on number 9. So we're going to repeat this process 3 more times with a new folder for weeks 2, 3, and 4. 2. And this is a good way to keep all of your work files in throughout the week. You will place them in these folders appropriately. And this will keep you organized. So in your DGD101 folder, you will have a week 1, 2, 3, and 4 folder. And then when you complete your projects, you can place them in the appropriate week folder. And that's just really nice to keep that organized in that way. Okay, so when you have, so what you're going to do now, number 11, you're going to repeat steps 3 through 10 4 times to create folders for the following classes. So you're going to create other subfolders here, DGD 104, 105, 106, and 140. I think what's an easy way to do this, instead of going through the same steps, you can do, if you want to save time, you can copy this particular folder very easily. Just go up to Edit, Copy, and you can do an Edit, Paste. Nope. Oh, okay, you can't do that. I thought you could. No, it's not going to be making you do that. All right, you can't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a File, New Folder. I thought you could. It's going to be the same name. DGD. I thought it would give it like another sub name there. 104. So we have 104. Let's just create the subfolders now. New folder, DGD 105. DGD 106. And DGD 140. Somebody here, let me pull up my chat. Somebody's talking here. If we are already doing this, but start it with a file that is named. If we are already doing this, but start with a file that is named after the schooling goes in this order. Yeah, that's fine. However you like to do it. Yep. You can have like an IU folder. Yep. That's kind of how I would do it. Like I would do a subfolder called Independence University, and then inside that folder, I would have all my classes. So yeah, perfect. Okay, once you get all of those in there, this is kind of what I was trying to show you before, but I couldn't do it with the subfolder. If you select all these, you don't have to necessarily go through the steps over and over again. Just go ahead and copy all 4 items, go Command C, copy, you have to highlight all your week 1 to 4 folder, and then go into each folder to paste them. So just do Command V or go Edit, Paste. And you're going to paste, or you're going to create folders. Either way you want to do it. If you want to do it the long way, that's fine. But each of these folders have to have week 1 through 4. Okay. When you have all 5 folders in your documents, take a screenshot. So mine, obviously I have other folders in here, but I'm going to make sure all of these are showing. So do a Command Shift 3, and that'll kind of screenshot the whole entire screen. If you want to kind of hone in on just the folders themselves, you could do a Command Shift 4, and you have these crosshairs where you can actually pinpoint, where you want that picture to be taken, that screenshot, and highlight over that. So I'll show you here in a second. This is the first screenshot that I did, so it shows everything. That's Command Shift 3, or you do a Command Shift 4 and it just shows these folders. Make sure that you're actually showing all of your folders with all of the week 1 through 4 folders as well. So you'll basically have, okay, when you completed this part of the assessment, you should have 6 screenshots. Okay, so this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, and this would be 5. That way I kind of can see that you have all your subfolders in there. Let me trash these because these are just what I just did. Okay, so you should have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, where is 6? When you have all 5 folders in your documents, take a screenshot. Huh, interesting. Yeah, you should only have 5 screenshots, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 6. That has to be corrected there. So 5 screenshots. All right. I never noticed that before, actually. All right. Any questions about this first part? Yeah, that's true. They probably are just counting just the original folders as one. Yep. Probably. Yep. Okay, no questions. We're going to go on to the next thing, and you're going to set up a free cloud-based storage using Google. You may already have one set up, so just kind of bear with me here. If you do, we'll address that. You're going to open up your internet browser. You're going to type in drive.google.com. So I'm just going to copy that and make a new address bar here. Now I already have one, so you're going to see this open, and I'm going to have stuff in here. You may as well, and that's fine. Just, go with the instructions still. If you have to create a new account, if you don't have one, click on create account and walk through the steps. Excuse me, filling in appropriate information to create your account. And it says here, note, if you already have a Google account, simply enter your login information here to go to your Drive. Now I already have mine open, so I didn't have all those steps. Okay, so you might need to do some extra steps there. Okay, so when you get to the Drive page, click on the new button in the upper left-hand corner of the page. Right there, okay. So you're gonna click on the new button, and then you're gonna choose folder, and you're gonna name this folder DGD101. Folder DGD101. You're gonna hit create. And it's gonna show up right here, okay? Or should show up right there. You're gonna double click to open that folder. Go back and double click. Here we go. With your folder open, click on the Finder and navigate to your documents where you previously created your DGD101 folder. Okay, so with this open, you're going to click on your desktop and you're going to go to Go, and you're going to find your documents, and you're going to find your DGD101 folder right there. Okay, click and hold on your DGD folder and drag it so that it's on top of your Google window. So just go ahead and let me switch back here. And right there, you're going to drag and drop it right there. Okay, and it's going to upload. And there it is. Let go of the folder and allow it to drop. Take a screenshot, Command-Shift-3 of your Google folder with your DGD folder inside of it. Okay, so all you have to do is do a Command-Shift-3. There you go. Any questions about that? And it's on my desktop now. Here's all my screenshots. That's pretty easy, right? Okay, so that's that. Okay, part 3. So just keep on doing, each step, and then at the end, we're going to combine all of these screenshots. Okay, so part 3 is setting up a backup reminder using the Reminder app. Close out of here. Navigate to your dock and click on your Launchpad to open it. Once it's open, click on your Reminders application. Okay, so when you click on that little rocket, or if you go to System Preferences, actually not System, you have to go to your Launchpad, not your System Preferences. You should have a Reminders. Mine's up here. Click on that, and it should open up and look like this. Has anybody ever used this before? Maybe, huh? No? Okay, first time for everything. Once it's open, when you're, not yet, okay, good. When you see the blinking cursor, okay, so what you're gonna do is, I skipped a step. When your new reminder panel opens, click on the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. This little plus sign here. See, this one I should delete because that was from the last class. But when you click on that, when you see the blinking cursor in the list portion of the reminder, type the phrase backup computer. And I have the other one above set there. Hover to the far right of the words where the little I is. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on that. And in that new panel that opens, you're going to check the box that says on a day and navigate down to repeat and click on none. Okay. Change the setting to every month. Right there. Click on done in the lower right corner. Good. All right. When you're finished and have your reminder set for once a month, take a screenshot. So go ahead and do a Command Shift 3. We're all good. I actually have 2 reminders. Let me delete these. Oops. Delete these tasks here. Oh. How do I delete these? I guess that's a selection and delete. You think you'd be able to just delete, right? Huh. Okay, these are actually just showing that you completed them. So you can't actually delete them, but you can complete them. That's probably why. All right, so that is, that's pretty much part 3. So you'll have a screenshot of that as well. Does anybody have questions about that? Okay. And then the last part is part 4, creating a zipped folder. And a zipped folder is a great way to combine a ton of, not a ton, but multiple files together. And then it compresses them so that it makes the file a little smaller so you can send it all together. So you're going to close or minimize all windows. So all you see is your desktop. You're going to go up to the File, New Folder. With your new folder selected, you're going to highlight, click on File, Rename, and you're going to rename it this, DGD101 Assessment 1. So let's do that. So go up to File, New Folder. You have to be on your desktop. It creates a little folder like this. And we're going to go ahead and rename it what it said to rename it right there. Click on each screenshot and drag it into this folder. And after you put each screenshot into the folder, double click on the folder to open it. You should have 8 screenshots inside this folder. Okay, so double click. And it's going to open it up in this type of a panel here. And we're going to go ahead and drag and drop it in. And you don't even have to double click on that at first. You could have just dragged it in like this. All right, I think that's all I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm missing that one subfolder, but you should have a total of 8. And I'm assuming the 8 would just be like you guys said, the subfolder that they told you to screenshot up here. Okay, so you should have 8. And then what you do, close the folder, single click on the folder to select it, and then you're going to compress it. There's 2 ways to do this on a Mac here. So you can either select the folder and go up to File, Compress. And when you do that, it looks like a little zipper. It says zip. That's the zipped folder. So you'll save both folders on your in your documents, but this is what you're going to upload, this folder. Okay. And when I get it, I'll just unzip it and it'll look like this. It'll unzip with all your screenshots. There's another way you can zip on a Mac. If you click on the folder itself and then hold down Control click, you can compress here too. Okay. Do you guys know how to check the file size of a folder or an image or a zipped folder? You guys know how to check that? I'm going to show you that real quick here. Okay, so if say you have a folder and you don't know how big it's going to be when you send it, all you have to do is select it one time to highlight it. And on your keyboard, if you're on a Mac, hit Command and the letter I. And this will open up a panel and it'll kind of tell you what this file is, how big it is. So this is 29.6 megabytes. Okay, that's how you would find it, the file size. But that's what you're going to submit right here. So it should end in the zip. And then you're going to submit your zipped folder to the assessment. Yep. So you go Command I. So if I were to do one screenshot and I did a Command I, you have to hit Command first and then I, it's going to open up and tell you, how big that file is. Yep. Kind of nice to know. Sometimes it's good to know so you're not sending huge files. You can kind of compress them or do something to them that needs, that would need to be sent if you're having issues. Don't forget to, in each of your assignments, you have a rubrics that you should, this is how I'm going to be evaluating your work. So go ahead and read through, make sure it's kind of like a checklist that you have everything covered in regards to what's on the rubrics. That way you know you're going to get full points. Any questions about the projects that we went over? Questions, comments, you guys? Is it pretty clear to you how to do this besides the narration part of the PDF or the PowerPoint, which I'm hoping I can figure out here? That's it? Yeah. All right. I think I had a little thank you slide here and it's missing here. Yeah, so, once this is done and recorded, and processed, I'm gonna place this recording into our live sessions area. So if you need to review, for the quiz, don't forget the live lecture quiz is here. It's 5 questions and it's basically things I've talked about throughout the lecture. Go ahead and take that when you feel comfortable, but I will be placing the live session, this actual recording I'll be placing probably within the next half hour. It'll process, so you'll have access to that. And then also don't forget, always kind of look into your announcements page. This is how I communicate with you as well. I forgot to tell you. I sent a welcome email to you guys, so go ahead, or a video to you guys, so you can check that out. Also, if you haven't looked at that, I kind of go over every week. I'll do like what we're going to be doing, towards the beginning of the week. So what to expect. I also put the learning coach schedule in here so that if you need, that's different from lab instructor, just so you know. This is her schedule here, Christy. Yeah. Yeah, some of you guys are, if you have any questions in terms of your software, even hardware, even your computer, let me know. I can try to help. But this is how I communicate with you. So definitely check in here. I'm going to post that little how-to information for a recording for a PowerPoint in here. So kind of keep an eye out for that. I just wanted to let you guys know. But yeah, a lot of you guys are new. This is all new. I understand that. And, if you feel like you're confused about anything, let me know. I'm here to help you guys. If you succeed, I succeed for real. So I'm here to help you, not to just say, hey, you're doing this wrong and you get an F. Like I want to see that you guys are learning and growing. So send me any questions that you have. Even if you think, I have a lot of students that reach out to me and say, oh, this is a dumb question. Don't think it's a dumb question. No question's a dumb question. Obviously there's something that you need an answer to, and I'm going to help guide you if I can. So, all right, guys, it looks like we're at that finishing point here. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it. I know I've talked and talked and talked. Each lecture every week will be 2 hours done by me, either Monday and Tuesday, and I will go through every single thing step by step. So you if you're watching even the recording, hopefully you'll get clarification of what is expected, and hopefully help save you time in the end too once you get started. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, here you go. I think you guys will enjoy this class. This is a pretty nice foundational class to take. Oh, great. Yeah, that would freak you out, huh? All right, guys, you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you on the discussions. Feel free to reach out to me or Laura if you have any, issues going forward, your lab instructor, and we'll hopefully make it a great week. All right, great. I'm glad you did. It's great to see you guys. Hopefully I'll see you next week too. All right, have a good one.